So today we're going to be doing something slightly different. I have several packets of resin, so there's a scarlet there, copper, a lovely orange which I'm itching to use, and a beautiful cobalt blue which I used for a cheese board earlier this year. Don't know if you can see that, but it comes out that kind of, probably can't see that very well, that kind of deepish blue. On top of that, I've still got all the olive and wengi trimmings that I said I was going to put into a bowl blank. All these bits. So there's a couple of nice woods there. On top of that, I had more here, and I've got some perspex trimming. Just some clear perspex which I'll slot in through this project as I try and explain it a little bit better. Right, so that's all my wood trim there. Oops, dropped some. I ordered some wood trim from my wood supplier. I ordered 5 kilos. It's about £4 for no, it's £4 for 5 kilos, so I ordered 20 kilos, 25 kilos, whatever. I ordered a load. And what arrived were this lovely assortment of wood. So I've got one of my favourites there, which is Paduke, which is a lovely red, as you can see. I've got a couple of bits of pear wood. I've got this one here, which would make a lovely project just on its own. But, you know, I want to, and there's a bit of pear wood there, so I've got a couple of bits of pear wood. I'm not really keen on pear wood. I've never had any luck turning it before. So it'll be interesting to see what smaller pieces of it will be like once I've set it in resin, because that's what's coming up. I've got a couple of bits of ash. I got a couple of bits of bird's eye maple, which is absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I'll have to remember to put that in vertical, otherwise you won't get to see all the lovely bits and bobs. I've got a couple of bits of boxwood. I've got boxwood there and a Castello boxwood there. I'm not sure if there's any difference between them, but we'll find out. A bit of mahogany, which is going to add some nice colour. A bit of ordinary maple. I say ordinary maple, it's probably beautiful, but you know, it's just normal maple, not the bird's eye. Lovely bit of zebrano, another one of my favourite woods. These beautiful dark brown stripes going through the sort of light brown background. On the other side, they get a bit more erratic, but I prefer the grain this side because it really does stand out nice. Then I've got a few bits of walnut. That's a bit of walnut as well, yeah. So I've got a few bits of walnut. A little end of olive wood, which is nice. And I've got this, which I've never seen before. I've never even looked at before. It's bloody heavy. It's probably about 1 inch thick. I say probably because once again I've misplaced my tape measure, or should I say the wife's tape measure, since both of mine are packed. So it'll be interesting to see what this wood's like. So I might even just sand down the front a bit and sand down the side a bit, see which grain I like, but that's nice. So I've got all this wood here. I've still got more wengi lying around, so bigger bits of wengi there. Which, if you don't remember, wengi is a very deep brown with almost blackish stripes going through it. Nice and hard. It's obviously sometimes known as faux ebony because of its hardness and its colour when polished. Does tend to splinter, and the worst thing about this when it splinters is the splinters are quite determined They're not like a pine splinter or a cheap wood splinter that snaps off after a few mil and it's just uncomfortable. This stuff doesn't snap off. It keeps burrowing into your flesh for as long as you're pushing on it, so it can be quite painful. But I love it. I love the colour of it. Now, on top of that, I've got 5 of these. Now you may think, oh, it's just a bucket. And you'll be absolutely right, it isn't just a bucket. It's 25 litres. The top diameter here is 334 mil, so it's about 33.4 centimetres. It's 400 mils high, and the bottom is 280 mils. I say that because it's quite important. I'm going to cut these buckets in half-ish, wherever I can. So I'll end up with, out of each of the 5 buckets I've got, I'll end up with 2 moulds, theoretically. The lids have been glued on with silicone sealant, so we shouldn't get any leaks. We shouldn't have got any leaks through the lid anyway, because of the tight fit. But just in case, I put the silicone sealant on it. So what I'll do is I'll try taking out the handles, because I can always use the metal from the handles for something else. Cut them in half, and then once we've got them in half, I will start cutting up all the bits of wood and working out how these bowls are going to go together before I crack into my 5 kilos of crystal resin. What I'm hoping for is to get 10 buckets with half a kilo of wood in each and half a kilo of resin. But over the last couple of days, my confidence in being able to make that many today has kind of dwindled down a little bit. So what I'll do, first of all, is I shall put half a kilo of wood in to one of these soon-to-be moulds, and we'll see how we go. It may end up that I'll end up putting a kilo of resin and a kilo of wood in each to give me a nice deep bowl blank. That's what we call them. We call them bowl blanks. They're usually round. They can sometimes be square. You find the middle of them, you stick them on the lathe, and you make a bowl out of them. That's why they're called bowl blanks. I'm tempted to make bowl blanks because I've had a look at wood supplies in New Zealand for when I move, and I can't really find any woods that I know. Obviously I know kauri, because I like the New Zealand kauri. It makes a nice little project using that. But I haven't found the woods I like the Wengi or the Paduke or the Purple Heart or the Pink Ivory and woods like that. So I'm a little concerned that I won't be able to use some of my favourite woods when I'm over there. However, I could, I suppose, order from Exotic Hardwoods when I've got enough money, put a big order in and get it delivered all the way to New Zealand, if they do that. But it sounds expensive, very expensive. So what I've been doing over the last year is sealing all of my bits of wood trim up in sheets of acrylic resin. So I've probably got about 25, I'd say 25 sheets of resin with wood setting it up in the house, ready to start me off when we get to New Zealand and I finally get my workshop sorted out. But not thinking at the time that I could have got some buckets, cut them in half, and as well as making sheets, I could have made bowl blanks. Watching YouTube's given me the idea, so I'm going to now give it a go with this wood trim, that wood trim, that, whatever it's called, and also I'm going to be putting some of this in it, which is cheap, nasty pine. We cut down the the framework which used to be attached to the back of the house, and now I've got loads of this. I've got some there for a table. I've turned some into a picture frame. I want to keep some because I want to put something out the back there to prop my wisteria up. But these little bits, which don't serve any purpose, are going to go straight through the middle of these projects. I mean, on this one, looking at this now, I could probably put a little bit more with this cheap nasty wood in the middle, because when you make the bowl, it's the middle you take out, leaving the nicer woods on the outside. And obviously the amount of resin that one of these takes up, you know, that's a lot of resin to fill that gap sort of there. So I'm going to bulk them out with these and see how we go from there. But anyway, life's a learning curve, so off we go. Alright, so I've got my first 3 buckets here. I've gone for 1 kilo of wood in each because it didn't seem enough. So I'll go for 1 kilo of resin as well. I'm just about to mix that up now. As you can see, we've got the cheapy wood going through the middle. I'll put something on those to stop them rising up. Probably, I've got a few bricks over there, so I'll probably use them. And that will make up the core of the bowl blank, which it's either going to end up as sawdust or under the bowl when you finish doing it. So no harm in doing that. And it saves me quite a bit of resin by doing that. Makes the bowls a little bit deeper because I don't need to put as much decent wood in. So this one is the light wood. So you got the Costello boxwood, the ash, the maple, and the canary, the bird's eye maple. It's topped off with some of the olive trim that I had after making something or other. So that's that one. This one's the darker woods, so it's predominantly walnut, I think, in there, to be honest. Trying to think which other dark wood would be in there, but I think that is just walnut and topped off with, you can see some lighter bits there. That's some more excess olive wood I had. This one here is the Wengi. That's all the Wengi trim. Nothing else in there but Wengi. I've written them on front of each bucket what colour they're going to be. So the Wengi is going to be all orange. Then I'm going to use the other 1/2 kilo of orange in that one with all the lighter woods in, and then top it off with some red. And that one's just going to be predominantly red. And these are pearlescent resins, pearlescent pigments that I've got. So now I'm going to mix up 3 kilos of resin and colour it up. So it's been 24 hours since I made these, and they are set solid. I've already taken them out to have a quick look at them. So I'll just take this one out. To take these out, well, what I do, I spray this release spray I've got inside the buckets. It's silicone based and it makes it easier to get these out. So just bear with me. I'm going to take these outside. I think we can get a better look at the colours of them once we're out in the sunlight. And here we go. So that one is the orange, or predominantly orange. There's a bit of red on top just to top it up. You can see the orange there, it's quite nice. This one here is all red. Again, tip it up. You get a real sense of the patterns in the red there. And this one was a mix of both. Just on the edge there, if I can get out of my own way. You can just see the colours there. Remember, these are all pearlescent resins. Pigments, not resins, pigments. And there's the orange on the bottom. And yeah, that one's looking quite good. So that just leaves me now to cut the excess pine off the top, these bits. And they're ready to go.